Yeah.
Yep, that works now.
Yay, it works.
Oh my gosh. Doop a doop doop. Boop boop.
I'm sure that your singing is loved. I personally appreciate it.
I know you do.
I think it's fantastic.
That's because you're a Disney princess.
I am a Disney princess, and you can deal with that.
I'm a Disney princess, bitch.
I just thought I'd tell everyone that it was my birthday, and I feel old. But I also finished all of my finals and passed my math final. I'm pretty sure I'll pass my other finals too, so I'm not that stressed. So yay!
Yay! And yes, and I'm sorry, I didn't do a birthday episode this year. Well, technically I did. Technically I was doing that. I did that other Aubrey, and then we ended up doing that way earlier.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not concerned about it.
Okay, perfect. And we got our Reddit matches.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, I am obsessed with Reddit gifts. Like, obsessed.
By the way, this is not sponsored at all. We just love it.
And I love Reddit gifts. And we did get our matches, and I am so excited.
Yours is pretty cool. Excited. And so actually, after I've stalked my girl for a little bit, I'm like, okay, I think I can figure something out.
Awesome. I'm very excited for mine. I'll probably send it off on like Friday because I'm excited. I'm ready. I have it. It's already like in my cart. Awesome. Normally I would send a Reddit gift straight to my own house and then I would like wrap it and ship it to them. But I'm not going to this year. And that is A, because of the pandemic, and B, because my giftie is highly allergic to cats and my cat will not stay out of anything. So
crap, they wrote that to you?
They did, because it asked for allergies and it said, I am extremely allergic to cats. So I'm like, I don't know how extremely means, and some people, like, I don't want my cat to be all over a gift in my house and then ship it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the odds of a package going out of my house with 0 cat hair on it is pretty slim.
That's that's like my house. Any type of hair going out, that's not happening.
So I am going to send it straight.
So the terrifying roars you hear from, Jurassic Park movies probably aren't how dinosaurs communicated. In fact, with finding fossilized voice boxes, they think that they actually like honked like geese or ducks.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the funniest thing ever, though. Like, if you watched Jurassic Park and there was a T-Rex like honking at you. No, that's not nearly the same.
It's like you're still terrifying, but definitely not as much.
Oh gosh.
I mean, technically we have no idea for sure, but their fossilized like voice boxes look more like geese and ducks.
Jeez.
And they think, actually there's a theory that a lot of them have feathers too. Well,
that's interesting.
But can you imagine just a T-Rex?
No. That's ridiculous. That just seems so absurd. Doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it really does. It seems absurd. Can you imagine if they did, though?
No. I can't imagine.
Gosh, that's amazing.
All right, so are you ready for a story that super depresses me?
Okay. Yes.
Right, so this story depresses me. It's my Christmas story, of course. Everybody, Merry Christmas, or Happy Holidays, or whatever.
Happy Hanukkah. Kwanzaa.
Yeah, whatever Whatever you want me to say to you.
Happy Krampus?
I'm saying that now. Krampus is a person, and I don't think he's happy.
Well, Krampus, is he a person? Isn't he more like a demon?
Okay, well, that's getting debatable, but
let's see.
You know Krampus. What I mean.
What is Krampus? Oh, it's okay. Half goat, half demon.
You know what I mean.
See?
You're right.
I like Krampus better than Santa.
I'll make sure to tell Krampus to visit your house then for that.
Okay, I will. That'd be amazing.
Okay.
He can just eat my children.
All right, so I was talking about a Jane Doe, not Krampus. So Jane Doe.
Did Krampus eat the Jane Doe?
I sure hope not. I mean, I'm pretty sure not, but I can't technically prove that.
Okay, so we're going with Krampus ate her. Got it.
Yes, Krampus ate the Jane Doe.
Okay.
Since, she's not missing. There's a body. Jane Doe.
Well, did they, spit out the bones or something?
Well, I don't know. Jane Does make me sad.
Okay.
Or John Does. It just, something bugs me about, the thought that someone literally is missed by no one. It bothers me.
Who knows to say that they're not just missed by no one, but at the same time, what if they're a missing person, someone out there, and there's a Jane Doe that actually matches that no one's made the connection yet?
Yeah, so it's either you have no family or friends, or your family or friends think you're missing, and it's just I don't like it. Because so many people probably pass away without knowing what happened. And then there's this unclaimed body. And this one happens at Christmas time. So it's just so, I don't know. It gets me. It makes me sad.
It is. It's awful.
This case.
You would never become a Jane Doe, just so you know. I'd find you and I'd avenge whoever killed you. And whoever stood in my way.
I do not want to be a Jane Doe. I am
Yes, we've been through this.
Not okay with that. I am so not okay with being a Jane Doe. Okay, so this happened December 18th of 1996 in Pleasant Valley Memorial Park, which is a cemetery. I don't know why they're Pleasant Valley Memorial Park.
Pleasant Valley Memorial Park is okay.
So I'm okay, Memorial Park, I guess, is where they're getting cemetery, but there's also just plenty of parks with memorials in them. So I don't know. I feel like the cemetery's name is trying to
Okay.
And the cemetery is in Annandale, Virginia. So this person is often referred to as the Annandale Jane Doe. If I had to name her, I would call her Anna Dale, as though there was two names in her first and last name, because I'm cheesy and weird like that. So our Jane Doe was found in what is called Baby Lane, and that is where all of the babies and children are buried, that part of the cemetery.
Oh my gosh. So they're not even buried with their families?
It's quite common for kids to be buried in a particular part of a cemetery. I mean, think about this. Oftentimes, their parents aren't passed away yet.
Okay.
So Jane Doe went to Baby Lane and she set up a Christmas tree. Because remember, it's December 18th. So this woman goes there and sets up a Christmas tree. So, I mean, no one would probably think anything of this, assuming this is, the real story, how it all happens. So this woman comes and she sets up a tree, and people are just oh, okay, she's putting up a Christmas tree for one of the headstones. People do that all the time, right? But then she mysteriously, supposedly, most likely, but well, obviously, being theories, go to other options too, takes her own life.
Oh, at the cemetery?
indication or clues to who she was. And that is so many questions to me. Okay, first off, why in the cemetery? Why commit suicide? Why go through the trouble to set up a Christmas tree? Like, if you're in a place where you're about to commit suicide, you go, why set up a Christmas tree? Okay, and why would you want to be a Jane Doe? Like, oh, it just bothers me so bad. Why would you want that? Okay, so Jane was found by a groundskeeper who worked there. When she was found, she was laying on a clear plastic sheet. What is that? Why did she lay down a clear plastic sheet? Is she trying to, like, provide easy cleanup for herself?
She provided a clean plastic sheet.
Yeah, she was laying on a plastic sheet. Why would you do that?
What?
Okay. So her cause of death was suffocation. She had a plastic bag taped around her head. All right. So now, because we are a theory podcast, for just a minute, let's talk about the fact that this wasn't a suicide, but a murder. As far as I can tell, because, it was set up like a suicide, as far as I know, it was never looked into as being a possible murder. But don't murderers use that tactic of making it look like a suicide a reasonable amount?
Yeah, you would think so.
I don't know. It just seems like kind of a strange way to kill yourself, like the taping a bag over your head.
It really does.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, I mean, I guess it would take a while, like, if you taped the bag over your head. That way you wouldn't be able to get it off if you... Why not just put it on and tie it off then? Like, why go through the effort of taping it? Like...
Well, so here's an interesting fact. I don't know why it reminds me of, but back in the days when I was, a lovely teenager and overly dramatic about everything, I wrote a story. And one of my characters actually did attempt to commit suicide by putting a plastic bag over their head, taping it. And in order so that they couldn't just pull it off when they reached the panic moment, they also handcuffed their hands behind their back.
Okay.
Because you know me and my lovely dramaticness. And so I'm sitting here thinking, like, also, I don't know, I guess that also points away from it being murder too, because why wouldn't, like, you feel like when you hit that panic moment, you would just take the bag off your head.
Maybe it was suicide, and the point was to put the bag over your head and just tape it off so that you didn't do it. Like, didn't take it off. Because your instinct, is going to be, take this off me. Like, that's what your body's going to do.
Right. And I honestly do think it was probably a suicide, but, being a theories podcast, just have to kind of mention the fact that there's nothing that says they even looked into it as a murder. So, you have to at least think about it a little, right?
Yeah, so They never even thought it was a murder at all.
Not that I can see. And I'll tell you, I have a decent amount more, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But I have some more facts about Jane to try and help us develop any theories. So underneath the bag, she was wearing headphones. And her headphones were playing cassette tapes of comedians.
Okay.
So, I don't know, was this supposed to be a distraction to her, to lighten her in her last moments?
Is that how she wanted to go? Like, listening?
I guess this might explain a little why she didn't take the bag off her head. I kind of forgot about this part. So, when the autopsy was performed, they did find that she had consumed brandy and taken a Valium.
Okay, but if she took that much... Okay.
Does this mean she was trying to calm her nerves, or does this point back to murder, where they gave her something to make her not fight back?
Right. That's what I was going to say. I was like, well, okay, so if it's Valium and stuff, did she really just take that? But at the same time, if you're going to do Valium, then why not just take the whole bottle?
I And it doesn't say how much she took. It just says she consumed brandy and Valium.
Okay. How old was she?
I haven't said it yet, but I believe it said she was between 50 and 70.
Could she have had like,
range.
I would say dementia, but okay, so she is in the kids section, right? But they couldn't connect her to anyone that like was buried there?
Well, not officially. However, my next point that I'm getting to here is there was a scar on her abdomen, which could have possibly been a C-section. So, and I have several theories from Reddit as to who she is, and at least one of them will involve that. But I'll finish my bullet points first. So she was wearing clothes that had come from an upscale department store.
Okay.
And she had a medical alert bracelet on that read, no code, DNR, no penicillin. So First off, this points to the fact she wasn't homeless. I mean, she had something. She had, probably like a house, in theory, a job. How would that go unnoticed?
Not necessarily. What if these items were donated to her? Like the clothes.
Maybe. I don't know though. Like if she has, aren't medical alert bracelets expensive? Why would someone donate a medical alert bracelet?
Well, with the medical alert bracelets, depending on your insurance, or you can actually get it from the state, depending on what state you live in. They will actually give you one depending on seriousness of your condition, and if you absolutely need one, actually they are provided by the state. Because I know that like Dustin's parents are on like Medicaid, Medicare, stuff like that, and they actually have one as well.
Okay, but here's another question that I had. If you have a medical alert bracelet, let's say it is provided through your insurance, wouldn't your insurance have record of that? Wouldn't they be able to identify you by your medical alert bracelet?
You would think so.
I mean, I guess this was the 90s, so maybe it's different now?
No, but they should have it like, be like, okay, this matches up to so-and-so or something.
Yeah, like
unless that's not her, unless the person that bracelet belonged to was alive.
Yeah, so that just like there's so many questions to me about this case. That's why I'm doing it, because it just like is so confusing. Like, why did she have that? Like I said, I feel like they should be able to track that bracelet somehow. The fact that she's still a Jane Doe after more than 20 years.
But can't they not like publicly say, hey, this is this person, unless someone comes down and like identifies her?
I don't know. But
you would think though, I mean theoretically say that maybe she did have kids or an ex-husband or something like that, but no one was really close to her anymore, and so no one was willing to go down there and like view and identify her.
Somehow that makes this worse.
But is that like how that works though? Like, don't you need to have someone identify you to not become a Jane Doe?
Hang on, I'm gonna Google it.
Okay.
What happens if no one identifies a body?
Because I know when my dad passed away, my mom had to identify him.
Okay, does a body always have to be after the death? The body must be formally identified. Well, it says then if no one can identify it, they would use like, if they thought they knew who it was, they would use dental records or DNA.
Okay. Yes, but that's now. But this was years ago. This was in the 90s.
1996, you'd think they still had dental records. Just saying, I don't know. Okay, so besides the tree and her cassette tape, the other possessions with her included a knapsack, so probably what she carried all of this in, with a cassette tape of You Might Be a Redneck, as well as a tape of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
2 empty juice bottles, a red scarf, a newly purchased roll of masking tape, theoretically what she taped the bag to her head with, 2 envelopes, one labeled cemetery, one labeled coroner, and I'll talk more about those envelopes in a second, and also a child-sized pink Minnie Mouse fanny pack. Aww. Now, the fanny pack was well worn and had been mended with safety pins. Now, she obviously liked comedy because she had Monty Python and the Holy Grail, You Might Be a Redneck, and there was another comedy tape in the cassette. So, I mean, she probably, like, brought all of her favorites to pick them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's like she liked comedy. Okay, we come to the fanny pack. So, does this point, again, to having a deceased child?
That's what it seems like.
I mean, if you have a fanny pack?
Or, throwing out another theory.
Yes,
what if someone blames her for their child's death?
Okay.
And
that's
so then
interesting. Like,
they leave like the fanny pack and stuff like that.
Maybe this Jane Doe was in like a car accident and killed a child, and then, you know, possibly wasn't prosecuted for murder or whatever because of the condition of the car accident, but someone blames her.
That, or even maybe a, like, I don't know, a nurse or something. Like maybe this kid was sick or something and a nurse or a doctor couldn't save them. And so the parents blamed them.
Okay, that's an interesting theory. Okay, so now the envelopes. Inside each envelope was a $50 bill and a note that read, "Deceased by own hand, prefer no autopsy. Please order cremation with funds provided. Thank you, Jane Doe."
She wrote it as Jane Doe?
Yeah. Like, isn't that why would you want to be Jane Doe?
Wait, she wrote it as Jane?
Yes.
What?
Okay. And also, who writes a suicide note like that? Just deceased by own hand, prefer no autopsy? Well, also, I mean, once again, this is 96, but the whole, please order cremation with funds provided. She gave them $50. I mean, $50 isn't going to pay for anything.
No. What?
Also, in the envelope, there was a poem, and the poem was written by a typewriter, and it read, "Now I lay me down to sleep, so to drift the eternal sleep, and though I die and shall not wake, sleep sweeter will be than this life I forsake." So now there's like this really weird poem, and it just makes it sweeter sleep will be than this life I forsake. Like, okay, what was going on in this woman's life? Like, who was this person? Obviously, no one knew who she was, except for someone knew who she was, because she obviously had someone to give her a medical, like, alert bracelet and stuff. And I just...
Well, and you would think you would be able to track who that medical alert bracelet, like, either, like, went to or something. Like, just like, what?
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so estimates state that this woman was between 50 and 70 years old. That's kind of a broad range.
That is a broad range.
It says she would have been 5 feet tall and around 157 pounds. She had curly copper red hair. And there were no vehicles at the cemetery.
So she walked there?
Yeah, like, how did she get there with all this stuff? Did someone drop her off? Did she take a bus or walked? Like, how local did she live to this cemetery? Because, like, yeah, she had a backpack, but for crying out loud, she set up a Christmas tree. Even if it's a small Christmas tree, like, to carry around a Christmas tree and decorations and the cassette tapes and the masking tape and all of this stuff. The juice bottles. It just seems so strange.
Definitely. Like, that's a lot of stuff to be carrying by yourself.
Yeah, so it's like, did someone, like, help her do this? Was she dropped off by someone at the cemetery who's just like, I don't even care if you do this, just go?
Just, did someone too, like, did she ask for someone to help her? Like, why would you write that as Jane Doe if you did this?
Right? Why would you want to be Jane Doe? Okay, so as far as theories, do you want to start with the one I believe most or the ones I believe least?
I don't care. Shoot me. Go for it.
Okay. I'll start with the one I believe least. Okay, so one theory from Reddit is that she is someone who is a missing person named Donna Lee Thompson. Donna Lee Thompson was 49 years old when she went missing from Michigan in April of 1996. Okay, so that is the spring of this year. Then her van was found abandoned in Michigan in August of 1996, but no trace of her was ever found. So there are some people who say that she matches the description of this, but I don't know. It kind of is a long shot to me just because I'm like, okay, what was she doing? Once again, wandering around with all this weird random stuff in between April to August, and then especially after she ditches the van in August to December to get that far with this stuff, and no one knows who she is. And another Reddit theory is that she is Carmela Maria Gutierrez, who went missing from Chattanooga, Tennessee in January of 1999.
Okay, so also, hold on one sec too. You said that, she had a scar like a C-section. So she obviously still was intact and decay hadn't gotten too terrible yet. So what race was she?
She was, from the pictures and everything, we assume Caucasian. She appeared to be Caucasian.
Okay. Just Garcia seems like a very, very
not Caucasian name. I guess it could be a married name.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
But I agree with you. I thought about that as well. Okay, so this woman, Carmela, did have an appendectomy and a hysterectomy, and that would explain the scar. But once again, this leaves 6 years in between where this woman went missing. So what on earth would possess this woman from Tennessee to go here and do this? I guess maybe if she had had a hysterectomy, maybe she regretted not being able to have children, and that's why she was in the place in Virginia. But it just seems a little unlikely that, someone from Tennessee lives for 6 years after disappearing, wanders to Virginia, and then sets up a Christmas tree. That one seems still not super likely.
Yeah.
Out of all of the claims, though, there is one that I could maybe go with. And so that is if you're doing the research and looking her up, you can find a grave. Now, a grave in that cemetery, and the grave comes up for Brandy Ray Ballard. Brandy Ray Ballard died December 18th of 1989. So she died December 18th. That is the same day that this woman commits suicide. So Brandy Ray Ballard was 9 years old, and it says that she died at a hospital. I cannot find more cause of death than that. Okay? But, so this 9-year-old girl dies the same day the woman commits suicide, when she's 9 years old. And it says in the article that she was survived by her mother, whose name was Carmen Ballard, 2 sisters, 1 brother, and her grandparents. Okay, so is it possible that this woman, Carmen Ballard, would be Carmen Ballard, who was the mother to this small girl who passed away the same day she committed suicide? And if so, okay, so also it doesn't mention, it says she was survived by her mother, 2 sisters, 1 brother, and her grandparents. There's nothing about a father in there. So is her father also dead? Or was he just not in the picture? Did he die with the girl? Maybe they were in a car accident? But also, if this is her, that means Carmen has 3 other children somewhere. Why aren't these 3 other children looking for her? You know what I mean?
What if they weren't, close anymore or whatever, and they haven't talked to their mom in forever?
But still, they put this woman's picture out there. They tried to figure out who it was. They posted her picture in the papers and stuff in, the area.
What if they didn't live in the area anymore?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It just seems so strange that no one, if she lived in that area, would know who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if she did live in that area, that no one, not even a neighbor or anything, would know who she was.
Yeah, like if she lived somewhere, then someone would have rented to her or something, right?
You would have known. Yeah.
So, I mean, no one's even like, oh, that kind of looks like the woman I rented from. Oh, and oddly, they stopped paying rent recently. Like, I don't know, it just seems so weird. I'm going to send you a picture of her.
Of who they think it is?
No,
Or of the body?
this is, I think this one might be computer animated. I do have pictures of the body if you'd like to see it.
I want to see.
Okay. She looks, I mean, they look slightly different, but that's because, you know, this body has had all like the weird stuff done to it. So.
And there's so was the Holy Bible on her?
Not as far as I know. I'm a little confused to that.
As to why the Holy Bible's like sitting right on her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it seems like, to me, you would think, especially with the little fanny pack and going to the children's side, where only the children were buried, that she wanted to die by someone close by there.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that would be why. But it's just weird to me that that note's like, oh, Jane Doe.
Yeah, like why?
Okay.
Like, why, if let's pretend she is Carmen Ballard, why would you go into the same section as where your child is buried and then not just say who your child? Like, I just don't know.
Why wouldn't you die like close to them either? Like, that's so weird. I don't know. I mean, Jane Doe's bugs me too because like you can't really like. There's a whole lot of nothing you can go off of.
Yeah, this case, when I found it, like I just kept researching and just so many more questions just kept coming up. Like every time I read something new about this person, I was like, what the heck? Oh, here, I'll send you one more. This picture has a picture of like the Christmas tree and the knapsack and the fanny pack on it too.
But the Christmas tree to me is not weird. Like Dustin's dad does that with his sister Teresa all the time, like every year. Like they actually christen him and put up the tree and everything.
Well, and that's why I said like no one would probably think anything of her putting up the Christmas tree. But why put up the Christmas tree if you know you're just gonna do that? I guess. Right. I mean, once again, I guess you put it up for the same reason as you would before, in like memory of.
Yeah, well, I mean, like if your child loved Christmas, or.
Well, and I mean, if let's pretend that this is the mother of Brandy.
When was she found as well? What day?
What day was she found?
Yeah.
The next morning when the caretaker came in.
Okay.
She was found by like the groundskeeper.
That's awful.
Okay, so here's.
I mean, I guess at the same time you're like, well, he's seen a lot of dead people anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, she was on a sheet.
Okay, so and the bracelet is just, it's just like a regular, it's a metal one. It's not actually like one of those silicone ones or anything. Yeah, so it's like a metal one.
She was wearing other jewelry too. There's like the other jewelry in this picture.
Yeah, clip-on earrings, which is interesting.
Oh, and in this picture it does say race white. I assumed that, but just race white.
2 empty juice bottles. I wonder if those weren't juice, if they were alcohol.
I don't know. It said that brandy was found in her. So, I mean, I assume if they had been replaced with anything, maybe it would have been the brandy.
Yeah.
Maybe she mixed the brandy with the juice. I don't know.
Yeah. That drives me nuts, though. I mean, considering, too, of the pristine condition that they found that body in, and that no one...
Well, and like I said, they put this out, like, in papers that circulated. I mean, I don't know
So did she... put and write her name as Jane Doe because she knew that no one was going to look for her?
I don't know.
Like, because why would you write Jane Doe and and the fact that they found that body in pristine condition and were able to even match it up with dental records or fingerprints. Holy, just, okay.
Does that mean it is more random and maybe not the person's mom? I don't know. It's just, why sign it Jane Doe? It has been driving me nuts. That's why we had to get it out here and talk about it. Like
so that it can drive you nuts as well. You're welcome.
I started looking for like Christmas cases to do, and this is what I find. And I'm like, no, stupid Jane Does. What the heck?
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, no, but I mean the fact that they found this, I mean, they found her body in such pristine condition too, and the fact that they can't ID her, like what in the world?
It doesn't make sense.
If you did commit suicide, why would you write it Jane Doe?
Well, and once again, if she let's just pretend, I don't think she was a homeless person. A, because of the clothes, even if they were donated, she had two $50 bills to put in envelopes.
That's true.
What kind of homeless person's walking around with two $50 bills?
No one. No, you're not. I mean, not with $50 bills. I mean, you're gonna be like, have some change or something, maybe.
Okay. So, where, like I said, she had to live somewhere. Didn't some mortgage company or renter or something notice that their person was gone?
Well, the thing is if a company did, let's say, a mortgage company or something did know, all right, she's gone. Well, maybe they just thought she couldn't pay her bills and upped and left.
Maybe.
And just claimed that, okay, well, it happens and moved on. But it is very odd. Like, and why pick that cemetery unless you knew someone very close to there? And I'm also curious as to what was on that Christmas tree. So to see if there was any, like, ornaments or anything that would give another clue as to who this woman was.
From, like, what I've read in that picture, it's red bows and gold baubles.
Okay.
So nothing, I mean, particularly strange.
Let's say, too, for some odd reason, she wanted to be a Jane Doe. Then that means probably all of this is random.
Maybe, because if she did want to be the Jane Doe, it is likely that she wouldn't just be.
Maybe this was her way of being like, hey, I'm going to be remembered as this Jane Doe. Because I'm going to commit suicide and I'm not going to be famous for anything like that. And I know that. But if I can be famous for being a Jane Doe, then my legacy lives on or something.
Maybe. But if that is the case, then
maybe all this is
maybe
random.
She is one of those other people Redditors say she kind of looks like. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I still don't understand how they have not identified her by her dental or fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
That bugs me.
Isn't it strange?
And she, even if it's totally random, she's left enough clues as to who she was. She likes the comedy. She had a small Christmas tree with her. So obviously she was either of Christian faith or at least believed in the holiday, you would think.
Yeah. I mean, at some point in her life, she had celebrated Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And she had clip-on earrings, so her ears weren't pierced, but obviously she liked jewelry. Like, she was wearing jewelry. How does she, like, that drives me, okay, how did you not, I don't know how the fingerprints or the dental records show up nothing if you had a body like that, such in pristine condition.
Isn't it weird?
That's weird. That makes me wonder and go into, okay, what happened to either these records, or did no one even take her dental records and fingerprints?
Or is it some really weird cover-up? Because it's also weird to me that she, like, just I guess she could have taken a bus, but still.
She did technically have a backpack, so she could have fit, like, all that in her backpack and worn it on her back.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I would love to hear some theories or what happened to her.
Yeah,
Merry
guys,
Christmas.
help us solve a Jane Doe. That'd be amazing.
Oh my gosh, that would be the coolest thing ever.
That'd be the best Christmas gift we could ever ask for.
So, if anyone has any theories, please, please, please let us know. You can email us at crimetheoriespodcast@gmail.com or hit us up on our Instagram or Facebook.
Yep, we're there, guys. Feel free. You can message us and let us know what you think. we'll post all these pictures, and you guys let us know what you think, and maybe you can go down the rabbit hole with us and figure out what in the world happened to this, because this is going to drive me nuts now. How did she... honestly, something had to have gone wrong at the police station now not to identify her with that body being in that, condition.
Yep. I don't know. I think it is so strange.
It is. All right, guys. Well, keep
fucking
going.